No, I shouted in a scared voice, but then Voldemort shouted, Imperius, and I couldn't run away. Crookshanks, I shouted at him. Voldemort fell off of his broom and started to scream. I felt bad for him even though I'm a sadist, so I stopped. Ebony, he yelled, thou must kill Vampire Potter. I thought about Vampire and his sexy eyes and his gothic black hair, and how his face looks just like Joe Madden. I remembered that Draco had said I didn't understand, so I thought, what if Draco went out with Vampire before I went out with him, and they broke up? He's such an obvious poser, and a fucking prep, no doubt. Shatted on him, I don't doubt there is at least a little bit of scat kink in here somewhere. I'm sure we just haven't seen it yet. But, continuing on. No, Voldemort, I shouted back. Voldemort gave me a gun. No, please, I begged. Thou must, he yelled. If thou does not, then I shall kill thy beloved Draco. How did you know? I asked in a surprised way. Voldemort got a dude. You're so, retarded look on his face. I have telekinesis, he answered cruelly. And if you doth not kill Vampire, then thou know what will happen to Draco, he shouted. Then he flew away angrily on his broomstick. A gun in World of Magic? What? Yes, it shoots magic bullets. But, continuing on. I was so scared and mad, I didn't know what to do. But suddenly, Draco came into the woods. Draco, I said. Hi. Hey, he said back, but his face was all sad. He was wearing white foundation and messy eyeliner, kind of like a pentagram. Get it? In parentheses. End parentheses. Between Joel Madden and Gerard Way. Are you okay? I asked. No, he answered. I'm sorry I got all mad at you, but I thought you were cheating on me. I expelled. That's okay, he said, all depressed, and went back into Hogwarts together making out. Continuing on, for real? Yes. Ah yes, telekinesis must have lifted the thoughts out of her head. Exactly. How did you know what they were exactly thinking? You're very smart and powerful. But, chapter 10. Hold on, I need to turn on my light because it's getting a bit dark. I'll be right back. Okay. Oh man, I see in the author's note for chapter 10, it gets a little bit homophobic. It says a slur, so we're going to avoid that. So, stop it up, you insert thing here. If you don't like my story, then fuck off! Exclamation point. P.S. It turns out Bloody Mary isn't a muggle effort. Al and she and Vampire are evils that's they moved houses, okay? End of author's note. Beginning of chapter 10. I was really scared about Voldemort all day. I was even upset. Went to rehearsals with my gothic metal band Bloody Gothic Rose 666. I am the lead singer of it and I play guitar. People say that we sound like a cross between GC, Slipknot, and MCR. The other people in the band are Bloody Mary, Vampire, Draco, Ron, although we call him Diablo now. He has black hair now with blue streaks in it, end parentheses, and Hagrid. Only today, Draco and Vampire were depressed, so they weren't coming, and we wrote songs instead. I knew Draco was probably slitting his wrists, parentheses. He wouldn't die because he's a vampire too, and the only way you can kill a vampire is with a cross. They started another parentheses, one of the parentheses. There's no way I'm writing that. End of inner parentheses, or streak, end of original parentheses. And Vampire was probably watching a depressing movie like The Corpse Bride. I put on a black leather shirt that showed off my boobs and tiny matching miniskirt that said, Simple Plan on the butt. You may think I'm a slut, but I'm really not. And again, no author's note for that one. We were singing a cover of Helena at the end of the song. I suddenly burst into tears. Ebony, are you okay? Bloody Mary asked in a concerted voice. What the fuck do you think? I asked angrily and then said, Well, Voldemort came and that fucking bastard told me to kill fucking Harry. But I don't want to kill him because he's really nice, even if he did go out with Draco. But if I don't kill Harry, then Voldemort will fucking kill Draco. I burst out into tears. Stream is broke? It should be working. Is everything okay for everyone else? I'm sure nobody thinks the author is a slut. I'm sure nobody at all. If anything, I'm sure they just think she can't write very well. That's probably about it, to be quite honest with you. It's fine for me? Okay. Apologies, just taking a sip of my coffee. But anyway, where was I? Okay. Suddenly, Draco jumped out from behind a wall. "Why don't you fucking tell me?" he shouted. "How could you, you fucking poser muggle bitch." Parentheses, see, is that out of character? End parentheses. I started to cry and cry. Draco started to cry too, all sensitive. Then he ran out crying. Mangu just awakened a sleeper agent? I'm sure he did. Piano Breakers works for me? Oh, okay. We practiced for one more hour, then suddenly, Dumbledore walked in angrily. His eyes were all fiery, and I knew this time it wasn't because he had a headache. "What have you done?" He started to cry, wisely. See, that's basically nut swearing, and this time he was really upset, and you will see why. End parentheses. Ebony Draco has been found in his room. He committed suicide by slitting his wrists. End of chapter 10. Chapter 11, author's note. I said stop flaming up, preps. See, if this chapter is stupid, 11111 end parentheses, exclamation point. It delays with really serious issues. See for yourselves, it's stupid. Burr fangs to my friend Raven for helping me, exclamation point, end of author's note. But he couldn't die from that? Exactly. They said he couldn't die, but I guess he did anyway. A tragedy, I'm sure. Anyway, chapter 11. No! I screamed. I was horrified. Bloody Mary tried to comfort me, but I told her to fuck off. And I ran into my room, crying myself. Dumbledore chased after me, shouting, but he had to stop when I went into my room because he would look like a perv that way. Fair enough. Anyway, I started crying tears of blood, and then I slit both of my wrists. They got all over my clothes, so I took them off and jumped into the bath angrily while I put on Linkin Park song at full volume. I grabbed a stake and almost stuck it into my heart to commit suicide. I was so fucking pissed. I got out of the bathtub and put on a black, low-cut dress with lace all over it, sandly. I put on black high heels and pink metal stuff on the ends and 6 pairs of skull earrings. Scaleshoe Keck, Dumbledore is K though, Keck. That's not canon yet, KLD. Give it time. It will happen, I'm sure. Sewer slide? Sewer slide. But, let's see. I put on black. Yep. Okay. I couldn't fucking believe it. Then I looked out of the window and screamed. Snap! Or, was spying on. I believe she meant Snape. Was spying on me, and he took a videotape of me, and Lupin was masticating to it. They were sitting on their broomsticks. Ew, you fucking pervs! Stop looking at me naked! Are you, insert bad word here, or what? I screamed, putting on a black towel with a picture of Marilyn Manson on it. Suddenly, a vampire ran in. Abracadabra, he yelled at Snape, and Lupin pointing his womb. I took my gun and shot Snape and Lupin a gazillion times, and they both started screaming, and the camera broke. Suddenly, Dumbledore ran in. Ebony, it has been revealed that someone has... No! He shouted, looking at Snape and Lupin, and then he waved his wand, and suddenly, ellipses. Hagrid ran outside on his broom and said, "Everyone, we need to talk." What do you know, Hagrid? You're just a little Hogwarts student. It doesn't say who said that. I may be a Hogwarts student, Hagrid paused angrily, but I'm also a Satanist. This can't be, Snap said in a crisp voice as blood dripped from his hand where Dumbledore's wand had shot him. Wait, I thought, who shot who? I'm lost. What's going on? I don't know. I'm a bit confused. There must be other factors. You don't have any, I yelled in madly. Lupin held up the camera, triumphantly, spelled wrong. The lens may be ruined, but the tape is still there. I felt faint, more than I normally do, like how it feels when you do not drink enough blood. Why are you doing this? Lupin said angrily, while he rubbed his dirty hands on his clock. And then I heard the words that I heard before, but not from him. I did not know whether to feel shocked or happy, or to bite him and drink his blood because I felt faint. Wands can shoot? Yes. And so can magical guns. Something something violent, something something 666. That's pretty much the whole plot. Because Hangard said and paused in the air dramatically, waving his wand in the air. Then swooped he in singing to the tune of a gothic version of a song by 50 Cent. Because you're gothic? Snape snapped, or asked in a little afraid voice, because he was afraid it meant he was connected with Satan. Because I love her! End of chapter 11. Chapter 12. Something something Satanist, something something vampire, something something. These are all very accurate, descriptions of the story. Very good, very good. Take notes, you guys will be quizzed at the end, fun fact. Author's note for chapter 12. Stop effing, okay? Hagrid is a pedo to a lot of people in American schools are like that. I wanted to address the issue. How do you know Snap isn't Christian, plus Hagrid isn't really in love with Effany? That was Cedric, okay? End of author's note. Chapter 12. Can I fail intentionally? Yes. But, I'll be very disappointed that I won't. The story is awful. Beginning of chapter 12. I was about to slit my wrists again with a silver knife that Drago had given me, in case anything happened to him. I don't know what that would solve, but fair enough. He told me to use it valiantly against an enemy, but I knew that we must go together. No! I thought it was Hagrid, but it was a vampire, he started to scream. Oh my fucking god, no! My scar hurts! And then his eyes rolled up. You could only see his red whites. I stopped. How did you know? I saw it! And my scar turned back into the lightning bolt. Who's talking? No, I ran up closer. I thought you didn't have a scar anymore, I shouted. I do, but Diablo changed it into a pentagram for me, and I always cover it up with foundation, he said back. Anyway, my scar hurt, and I turned it back into a lightning bolt. Save me. Then I had a vision of what was happening to Draco. Velifamort has him bondage. Anyway, I was in the school's nurse office now, recovering from my slit wrists. Snap and Lupin and Hagrid were there too. They were going to St. Mango's after they recovered because they were pedophiles, and you can't have those fucking pervs teaching in school with lots of hot girls with a Z and a U. Weird. Dumbledore had constipated the Sidio camera that took me naked. I put up my middle finger to them. Anyway, Hagrid came into my hospital bed, holding a bouquet of pink roses. Enmonabi, I need to tell you something, he said in a V-serious voice, giving me the roses. Sekido, if we fail at 3 seconds, time out. Sorry, Sekido, was meant for Mango. Oh, I see, I see. We'll think about it when we get there. Don't worry. But let's see. Fuck off, I told him. You know I fucking hate the color pink anyway. And I don't like fucked up preps like you, I snapped. Hagrid had been mean to me before, for being gothic. No, Ebony, Hagrid says. Those are not roses. What? Are they goths to you, poser prep? I asked, because I was angry that he had brought me pink roses. This is truly a modern masterpiece. Author is the next Shakespeare. I'm sure they're actually still writing. Hopefully better, but God willing. I saved your life, he yelled angrily. No, you didn't, I replied. You saved me from getting a Paris Hilton pee video made from your shower scene and being viewed by Snap and Lupin, who masturbated. See, is that spelled wrong? In parentheses. To it, he added silently. Whatever, I yelled angrily. He pointed at his wand at the pink roses. Those aren't roses. He suddenly looked at them with an evil look in his eye and muttered, well, if you wanted honesty, that's all you had to say. That's not a spell. That's an MCR song, I corrected him wisely. I know, I was just warming up my vocal cords. Then he screamed. Petulous meringo mi cremsili remasio. Parentheses, for all you cool gothic MCR fans out there, that is a tribute, especially for Raven. I love you, girl. End parentheses. IMO nato okeo. Picking back up on the chanting. And then the roses turned into a huge black flame floating in the middle of the air. And it was black. Now I know he wasn't a prep. Okay, I believe you now. What the fuck is Draco? Haggard rolled his eyes. I looked into the balls of flame, but I could see nothing. You see, Emnabi, Dumbledore said, watching the two of us watching the flame. To see what is end of flames, parentheses. Haha, you reviewers flames get it, at parentheses. You must find yourself first, K. I have found myself, okay, you mean old man, Haggard yelled. Dumbledore looked shocked. I guess he didn't have a headache, or else he wouldn't have said something back. Hagrid stormed off, back into his bed. You are a liar, Professor Dumbledore. On a serious note, does anyone here actually like MCR? I think My Chemical Romance has a few bangers. It's actually pretty good. At least I think they're pretty good. Anyway, when I got better, I went upstairs and put on black leather mini dress that was all ripped on the ends with lace on it. That was some corset stuff on the front. Pardon me. Then I put on black fishnets and black high-heeled boots with pictures of Billy Joel Armstrong on them. I put my hair all out around me so I looked like Samara from The Ring. Parentheses. If you don't know who she is, you're a prep, so fuck off. End parentheses. And I put on black red lipstick, black eyeliner, and black lip gloss. I do MCR bangs, it do bang. Did you write this, Waffle? That is a good question. Did you write this fanfic, Waffle? No judgment. It's actually quite nice. Where was it? Okay. You look kawaii, girl, Bloody Mary said sadly. Fangs, parentheses, get it? End parentheses, you do too. I said sadly too. But I was still upset. I slit both of my wrists, feeling totally depressed, and I sucked out all the blood. I cried again in my bathroom, and I put the shades on so Snap and Lupin couldn't spy on me this time. I went to classes. Vampire was in the hair of magic creatures. He looked all depressed because Draco had disappeared, and he had used to be in love with Draco. He was sucking some blood from Hufflepuff. Hi, he said in a depressed way. Hi back, I said in an equally sad way. We both looked at each other for some time. Harry had beautiful red gothic eyes, so much like Draco's. Then we jumped on each other and started screwing each other. Stop it now, you horny simpletons, shouted Professor McGonagall, who was watching us, and was everyone else. Vampire, you fucker, I said, slapping him. Stop trying to screw me. You know I love Draco, I shouted, and then ran away angrily. Also, you reading the badly spelled out parts out loud really makes you sound like you're actively having a stroke. I actively feel like I'm having a stroke, don't worry. Oh, if I'm like still talking this way by the end of this story, I apologize. I've literally been mind fucked and brainwashed. I can't help it. But anyway, where was I? Where was I? I started screwing each other. Okay. Slapping him. Okay. Just then he started to scream, "Oh my fucking god, no! My scar hurts!" And then his eyes rolled up. You could only see his red whites. No! I ran up closer. "I thought you didn't have a scar anymore," I shouted. "I do, but Diablo changed it into a pentagram for me, and I always cover it up with foundation," he said back. Anyway, my scar hurt, and then I had a vision of what was happening to Draco. Valfamort has him bondage. Special thanks to Raven, my Gothic's blood sister. What the fuck? You are supposed to write this! Exclamation point. 11111111111. Hey Raven, do you know where my sweater? End of chapter 12. Manga Mindbreak confirmed? A little bit. I gotta say, I'm feeling a little bit dizzy reading all of this, in the sense that it's just so confusing. Like, trying to make sense of what is happening. It's I don't know how to really describe this. It's just something else. But, chapter 13. Author's note. Raven, thanks for gelping me again. I'm sorry at talk your poster gerd, but that guy is such a fucking sex bomb. Preps, stop flaming. Beginning of chapter 13. Vampire and I ran up the stairs looking for Dumbledore. We were so scared. Dumbledore! Dumbledore! We both yelled. Dumbledore came there. What is it that you want now, despicable snobs? He asked angrily. Valsamort has Draco, we shouted at the same time. He laughed in an evil voice. No, don't. We need to save Draco, we begged. No, he said meanly. I don't give a darn what Voldemort does to Draco. Not so much he has misbehaved in school, especially with you, Ebony, he said while frowned, looking at me. Besides, I never liked him that much anyway. Then, he looked away. Vampire started crying. My Draco, he moaned. Author's note. Don't you gay guys are like so hot, end parentheses. Flame time. A little bit. But end of author's note. It's okay. I tried to tell him, but that didn't stop him. He started to cry tears of blood. Then he had a brainstorm. I had an idea, he exclaimed. What? I asked him. You'll see, he said. He took out his wand and did a spell. Then, suddenly, we were in Voldemort's lair. We ran in with our wands out just as we heard a croon say, Avada Kedavra. End of chapter 13. Author's notes. Fuck off, preps, okay? Raven, thanks for helping again. I'm sorry I couldn't update, but I was depressed and I had to go to the hospital cause I slit my wrists. Yes, I'm not updating till you give me 10 good revoys. End of author's note. Warning, some of this chapter is extremely scary. Viewer discretion advised. Beginning of chapter 14. We ran to where Voldemort was. It turned out that Voldemort wasn't there. Instead, the fat guy who killed Cedric was. Draco was there, crying tears of blood. Snaketail was torturing him. Vampire and I ran in front of Snaketail. Rid my sight of you, despicable preps, he shouted as we started shooting him with the gun. He suddenly looked at me and he fell down with a lovely-dovely look in his eyes. Period, he said. In this, he is 16 years old, so he is not a pedophile, okay? And parentheses. I too run with my wands out. I think we all do. But, I asked. Ennobi, I love you. Will you have sex with me? Asked Snaketail. I started laughing crudely. What the fuck? You torture my BF, then you expect me to fuck you? God. You are so fucked up, you fucking bastard, I said angrily. Then I stabbed him in the heart. Blood poured out like a fountain. He screamed. He started screaming and running around. Then he fell down and died. I burst into tears sadly. Snaketail, what art thou doing? Called Voldemort. Then He started coming. We could hear his high heels clacking to us, so we got on our broomsticks and flew to Hogwarts. We went to my room. The vampire went away, and there I started crying. Proof they aren't goth. Canon proof. What's wrong, honey? Asked Draco, taking off his clothes so we could screw. He had a sex pack. Parentheses. Get good cause he's so sexy. End parentheses. And a really huge you-know-what and everything. It's so unfair, I yielded. Why can't I just be ugly or plain like the other girls and preps here except for Bloody Mary because she's not ugly or anything? Why would you want to be ugly? I don't like preps anyway. They're such fucking sluts, answered Draco. Yeah, but everyone is in love with me. Like Snape and Lupin, they took a video of me naked. Hagrid says he's in love with me. Vampire likes me. And now even Snaketails is in love with me. I just want to be with you, okay, Draco? Why couldn't Satan have made me less beautiful? I shouted angrily. Parentheses. And don't worry, Enobi isn't a snob or anything, but a lot of people have told her she is pretty. End parentheses. All goths would fuck Snape? I think that's pretty canon. Pretty true. True. All true. But, I'm good at too many things. Why can't I just be normal? It's a fucking curse, I shouted, and then ran away. End of chapter 15. Or, chapter 14, sorry. Author's note. Stop flaming, okay? By the way, you suck. From now on, every time someone flams me, I'm gonna slit my wrists. Thanks to Raven for helping. End of author's note. Beginning of chapter 15. Ebony! Ebony! Shouted Draco sadly. No, please, come back! But I was too mad. Whatever. Now you can go have sex with Vampire, I shouted. I stormed into my room and closed my black door with my blood-red key. It had a picture of Marilyn Manson on it, by the way. He looked so sexy, in a way that reminded me of Draco and Vampire. I started to cry and weep. I took a razor and started to slit my wrists. I drank the blood all depressed, and then I looked at my black GC watch and noticed it was time to go to my biology class. Slit wrists. It's serious writing. It's not a joke. I put on short, ripped black gothic dress that said anarchy on the front in blood red letters and was ripped, and a spiky belt. Under that I put on ripped black fishnets and boots that said Joel all over them with red, blood red letters. I put on my ebony hair out. Anyway, I went downstairs feeling all sad and depressed as usual. I did some advanced biology work. I was turning a bloody pentagram into a black guitar. Suddenly, the guitar turned into Draco. Enobi, I love you, he shouted sadly. I do not care what those fucker preps and posers think. You're the most beautiful girl in the world. Before I met you, I used to want to commit sewer slide all the time. But now, I just want to fucking be with you. I fucking love you. Then he started to sing The Chronicles of Life and Death. Parentheses, we considered it our song now because we fell in love with Joel was singing it. End parentheses. Right in front of the entire class. His singing voice was so amazing and gothic and sexy, like a cross between Gerard, Joel, Chester, Pierre, and Marilyn Manson. Author's note. Don't you think those guys are hot? So hot? If you don't know who they are, get the fuck out of here. End of author's note. OMFG, I said as he finished. Some fucking preps stared at us, but I was just stuck up my middle fingers. Parentheses. That were covered in black nail polish and were intertwined with Draco's now, and parentheses, at them. I love you, I said, and then started to kiss just like Hilary Duff. I fucking hate that bitch, in parentheses. And CMM in a Cinderella story. Then we went away holding hands. Lupin shouted at us, but he stopped because everyone was clapping, but How sexy we looked together. Then I saw a poster saying that MCR would have a concert in Hogsmeade right then. We looked at each other, all shocked, and then we went together. Never touch a guitar again, author. I'm sure they have, tragically. But, end of chapter 15. Author's note. You know what? Shut up, okay? Prove to me you're not preps. Raven, you suck, you fucking bitch. Give me back my fucking sweets. You are subsid to writ